Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Farzana Khan. First, the headlines. Pakistan and Russia have agreed to further positive trajectory of overall bilateral relations by exploring avenues for mutually beneficial cooperation. Pakistan has lodged strong protest with India over unprovoked ceasefire violations in Bhimber and Sambini districts along the line of control. Election on 52 vacant seats of Senate will be held tomorrow. Security forces have foiled a major terror bid in Pishin district of Balochistan. France, Germany and the United States have called for immediate implementation of a 30-day ceasefire in Syria. In Pakistan Super League, a match between Karachi Kings and Multan Sultans is delayed due to rain, while Lahore Qalandars will take on Islamabad United in Sharjah tonight. And now the news in detail. Pakistan and Russia have agreed to further the positive trajectory of overall bilateral relations by exploring avenues for mutually beneficial cooperation. The agreement was reached at the 12th meeting of Pakistan-Russia Consultative Group on Strategic Stability in Islamabad today. According to Foreign Office, the Pakistani side was led by Special Secretary, United Nations and Economic Coordination, Ambassador Tasneem Aslam, while the Russian delegation was headed by Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Rabayov. The two sides expressed a high degree of satisfaction over their close coordination, cooperation and consultations at various international fora. In-depth exchange of views took place on regional and global developments in the context of arms control, disarmament, and non-proliferation. Pakistan has lodged a strong protest with India over unprovoked ceasefire violations in Bhimber and Samahini sectors along the line of control. Foreign Office summoned Indian Deputy High Commissioner J.P. Singh in Islamabad today and launched the protest. In a statement, Foreign Office said the firing by heavy mortars resulted in martyrdom of an innocent civilian while his wife and child got injured. It said the Acting Director General South Asia told the Indian envoy that deliberate targeting of civilian populated areas is indeed deplorable and contrary to human dignity, international human rights and humanitarian laws. The statement said ceasefire violations by India are a threat to regional peace and security and may lead to a strategic miscalculation. Elections on 52 vacant seats of Senate will be held tomorrow. A meeting chaired by Secretary Election Commission held in Islamabad today was informed that all arrangements have been finalized for the conduct of the Senate elections. Polling will begin at 9 in the morning and will continue till 4 in the afternoon without any interval. Halls of the National Assembly and the provincial assemblies have been declared polling stations for the elections. A meeting of PMLN Parliamentary Party today discussed matters relating to Senate elections being held tomorrow. The meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. Minister of State for Finance Rana Muhammad Afzal informed the National Assembly today that petroleum prices in Pakistan are the lowest in the region. Responding to a call attention notice, he said oil prices are reviewed, keeping in view the trend in the international market. He said as the prices are now going up, we have no option but to increase the domestic prices. Rana Afzal assured that the prices will be reduced as these come down in the international market. The Minister of State said, we have managed to keep the inflation rate below 4%. Responding to a calling attention notice, Rana Muhammad Afzal said the government has empowered banks to recover loans from the defaulters under a new law. The government will announce first ever national water policy by the end of this month. This was stated by Minister for Power, Awais Ahmed Khan Laghari, while addressing the concluding ceremony of 4th International Conference on Use of Space Technology for Water Management in Islamabad today. He said the main features of the national water policy will include reduction in land losses, pricing of water, crop zoning, and efficient utilization of water in agriculture sector. Japan would provide $3.2 million for the procurement of equipment for the Regional Reference Laboratory for Polio Eradication at the National Institute of Health in Islamabad. Documents in this regard were exchanged by representatives of Japan government, JICA, and WHO at a ceremony in Islamabad today. Procurement of state-of-the-art molecular biology equipment will significantly enhance sample processing capacity of the laboratory. 6 suspected terrorists have been apprehended in Pashin district in Balochistan under the ongoing Operation Raddul Fasad. According to ISPR, FC Balochistan conducted intelligence-based operations on terrorists, suspected hideouts, and averted a major terrorist activity in Balochistan. A huge cache of arms and ammunition, including 500 kilograms of explosives, suicide jackets, prepared improvised explosive devices, submachine guns, mines, and communication equipment were also recovered. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. In occupied Kashmir, the Joint Resistance Leadership, JRL, comprising Saeed Ali Gilani, Mirwaiz Umar Farooq, and Muhammad Yasin Malik, has termed the ongoing assault on Kashmiri inmates as illegal, unethical, and act of vendetta. The resistance leaders urge the international community to shun its silence over the gross human rights violations by the Indian troops in occupied Kashmir. France, Germany, and the United States have called for the immediate implementation of a 30-day ceasefire in Syria. U.S. President Donald Trump also held telephonic conversations separately with French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. French Presidency's office said in a written statement today that Macron and Trump agreed to work together for the implementation of UN Security Council resolution to allow a ceasefire, transport of humanitarian aid, and the evacuation of injured and sick. Bangladesh has asked Myanmar to pull back its troops from the border where thousands of Rohingya refugees have sheltered. Over 5,000 people have been living on a narrow strip of land between the two countries since some 700,000 Rohingyas the burning of their homes in Myanmar last year. Russia has called off strategic talks with the U.S. scheduled for Tuesday in Vienna after a Washington delegation snapped a meeting on cybersecurity. Moscow's ambassador to the U.S., Anatoly Anatov, said that Washington's last-minute pullout from the Geneva talks at the end of last month was an unfriendly step that gave the impression of having been pre-planned and leading to the further degradation of bilateral relations. The move comes as Washington accuses Moscow of openly breaching Cold War-era treaties by developing what President Vladimir Putin called a new generation of invincible hypersonic weapons and submarines. In the Indian state of Chhattisgarh, at least 12 Maoist rebels, including 6 women, were killed in a raid on a forested hideout in Bijapur district today. The rebels control large swaths of area in central and eastern India and are active in 20 of India's 29 states. In Afghanistan, 1 person was killed and 6 others wounded in a suicide bomb attack at a foreign military convoy. Afghan Interior Ministry said in Kabul that police are investigating the incident. No group immediately claimed the attack. In Pakistan Super League in Sharjah, the first match between Karachi Kings and Multan Sultans was delayed due to rain. Earlier, Karachi Kings won the toss and elected to bat first. In the second match, Lahore Qalandars will take on Islamabad United tonight. And finally, the weather report. Rain with thunderstorm and snowfall over the hills with gusty winds are expected at scattered places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Gujranwala, Lahore, Sargodha, and Faisalabad divisions, Fata, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan, while at isolated places in Kohat and Bannu divisions during the next 12 hours. To end the news, the main points once again. Pakistan and Russia have agreed to further positive trajectory of overall bilateral relations by exploring avenues for mutually beneficial cooperation. Pakistan has lodged strong protest with India over unprovoked ceasefire violations in Bhimber and Samahini sectors along the line of control. Election on 52 vacant seats of Senate will be held tomorrow. Security forces have foiled a major terror bid in Pishin district of Balochistan. France, Germany and the United States have called for immediate implementation of a 30-day ceasefire in Syria. In Pakistan Super League, a match between Karachi Kings and Multan Sultans is delayed due to rain, while Lahore Qalandars will take on Islamabad United in Sharjah tonight. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.